for the conference. So you guys can ask any doubts you have to me or Satvik.
Fun fact about Vardhan: Vardhan is in love with Oversimplified. If you guys know Oversimplified,
Yeah.
you know you might understand most of his references. So do watch out
Hey.
Oversimplified. Israeli cabinet.
I see oversimplified. That's a different thing, okay? But it doesn't mean that everything I speak is a reference to oversimplified or something.
You have a lot of references, buddy. I'm just helping your committee members. So you guys might
Okay,
not
fine.
catch something. If you're Oversimplified
That's
fans,
right, guys.
very
That's
easy to
right. That's
understand.
right. That's right.
Check out the
What?
oversimplified Israeli Arab wars, everything. Read it now itself.
Yeah.
All the everything we've got from that movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing, are there any new delegates or beginners or the first time in a crisis committee from the Israeli cabinet? Oh, they're in the waiting room. Nakul Kapoor, Sanyam Garg, are these from your cabinet?
Sayam Garg is actually Sayam Garg is Israeli cabinet.
Okay, and Nakul Kapoor, anybody knows? One second.
Nakul Kapoor also, I think he's Israeli, but let me
Okay,
check.
I'll admit.
Nakul.
I think,
Nakul
I mean, I'm
Kapoor.
not sure. Let me
I'll
check.
admit and let's see.
Yeah. No. I guess.
Can you just message in the group, Vardhan, to
I
ask them
don't
to
think
join?
so. There's a Nakul Kapoor. Maybe.
What? Okay, fine. Yeah.
Oh, it's
I
me.
checked your.
It's me. I'm Pulkit. Wait.
Oh,
I use
No,
I use his
seriously.
I use his unlimited account, man. Don't.
Fair
leave
enough.
it.
Fair enough. I'm not fighting with your company.
Satvik, you want me to message the delegates to join
yeah,
in, right?
just message them. They can still join.
Okay, so what have you finished till now, or where is that? Right now?
Finish the MUN training session to explain them all the ROP and stuff. This is just a meeting with the Israeli cabinet members just to explain them a few things.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Anything you want to say, Pulkit? If you want to say, you can.
Yeah, you can say.
No,
No problem.
I didn't see anything what you did for ROP. I was.
RP, okay.
that
If
is
you
the
want,
first half.
I'll show you the PowerPoint link, Pulkit.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
just see
the
what we
PPT.
did.
Just share the PowerPoint link to me. I'll see.
Yeah, I'll just send it to your private.
I think this guy Hussein sent it in the joint messages. I think I'm not sure.
Anyways,
Yeah,
I
it's
just
that.
sent it to you in your private chat.
I
Just
was
open
going
it.
to join at 10 here, and then
Okay, no
Abhilasha ma'am called
problem,
me
no
for another
problem.
meeting. Arey, nahi man,
No.
Abhilasha ma'am told meeting all of a sudden. I don't know. Take it.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay.
You're in what, 12th now?
Okay.
Yeah,
For me?
12th. I'm
Oh
in
yeah,
no. Satvik
Pulkit.
passed out. No, I'm in 12th.
Pulkit and I
Me
same
and
batch.
Satvik passed out this year only. Both of us.
Yeah, I know.
Very nice. Very nice. Lucky people.
Okay, let's not waste the
Actually,
delegates' time. Let's start.
Yeah,
Oh
let's not
yeah.
waste
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so first thing, delegates, in the committee itself, we won't be calling you guys delegates. Hence, we'll be calling you members, not delegates. See, usually delegates represent countries or bodies that they just represent those bodies. They don't have authority over those bodies. But you guys have authority, absolute authority over your particular organ or body. Hence, we'll be calling you members, not delegates. And don't refer to yourself as delegate of JOC Southern Command. JOC stands for General Officer Commanding. You just call yourself General Officer Commanding or JOC Northern Command. That itself is your allocation. Okay, and in the committee itself, we will be referring to you guys as panel of members. It's mentioned in our background guide as well, and you can refer to yourself as members of this council. So there's a difference between cabinet and council. I'll explain that real quick. So the Israeli government has an executive branch, legislative branch, and judiciary branch. The judiciary branch, similar to India, it's independent and free. The executive branch, sometimes called the government, just to refer to the executive branch, it's also called the Israeli cabinet, right? That's the executive branch. And the legislative branch, it's called the Knesset. Okay. Now, in India, that's comparable to the parliament. When we refer to the parliament, we mean just the legislative branch, right? We have the two houses of parliament, right? That's just the legislative branch. And then the executive branch consists of the prime minister and his cabinet of members. Just like that in Israel, the executive branch, that's called the Israeli cabinet. It consists of the prime minister and his cabinet members. The Knesset consists of several members. That's the legislative branch. Okay. Now, this committee, the Israeli cabinet, that's not the Israeli cabinet, it's the Israeli State Council. It's a special war committee that we have made, consisting of people from the IDF, that's Israeli Defense Forces, right? The army chiefs basically, and members of the Israeli cabinet. So that together is called the State Council. Henceforth, we'll be referring to ourselves as council members, members of the Israeli State Council, and you guys are called the panel members, and us, we are called the dais. So don't refer to us as chairs as well. It would be better if you refer to us as the dais. And obviously, don't call each other by your names. You'll be calling each other by your allocations. You can refer to us as dais, or you can call us the Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister.
Yeah.
Vardhan is our Deputy Prime Minister. I'm the Prime Minister. Also, there's something called the General Staff, right? So the IDF members are all a part of the General Staff. What is this? So IDF has several organs and bodies. The General Staff is the body that presides over the entire IDF. It basically consists of the heads of each particular organ and directorate. Okay, what's an organ? What's a unit? What's a directorate? So if you read the background guide, this should be clear. Unit is when we say the armed ground forces. That's a unit. Navy is a unit. Air Force is a unit. Right? These are the units of the Israeli Defense Forces. Then directorates, these are boards, these are groups of people, each of them is a director, and all of these directors constitute a directorate, and they lead certain bodies and organs. Right? This is simple as that. The special forces, so there's no allocation like chairman of special forces in reality, because each of these special forces unit is separate, and there's no presiding, we couldn't find any presiding person over there. So we've just made another allocation. It's called the chairman of special forces. Okay. And yeah, that's it. And the chief of general staff, that's the head of the entire IDF. And we don't have a chief of general staff in our committee because it doesn't make sense for one person to just be an absolute head. So the dais,
Yeah.
that's me and Vardhan, will be delegating for the chief of general staff. That means we'll be
Yeah.
representing the chief of general staff. If you have a question to the chief of general staff, you'll be asking that to us. Okay, any questions at all, please feel free to just unmute yourself and ask. Foreign affairs, you can, Minister of Interior, you can go ahead.
The speakers list, it will be given by you and the, what do you say, the co-chair, right?
We'll come back to this ROP related question. Anything related to what I've explained right now?
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Question paper, as you mentioned before. You mentioned solutions, so I just wanted to know what exactly you mean by solutions.
Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay, fine. So I think there are no questions about the things that I just explained, right? The system. So I hope the terms Israeli State Council and the thing that you should not call yourself a delegate, you should call yourself a member, and we are the dais. I hope that all is clear. Now, with regards to the policy paper, I'll just share with you guys our grading criteria, so you know what we are looking for in a policy paper.
Can I do it?
Yeah. Can you share it? Yeah.
1 minute. Yeah.
You guys made a grading criteria.
Yeah, we'll share it with you as well. Yeah.
Satvik made it, man.
No worries.
Okay.
No, I was planning on making one. I didn't think so you guys were so
You went
fast.
this one, right?
No
Went this
worries.
one.
We have made a grading criteria. So just show them the Persian paper one. Okay, fine. So
Yeah.
this is how we'll be marking your Persian papers. So
Yeah.
format carries 5 marks. See, the format, there's nothing much. There's just introduction, body, conclusion. That's it. There's nothing else to it. There's also something in the top which you have to put as the header. Just refer to the sample Persian paper sent in your email. Just refer to that. Okay, that's format, and you have to submit it on time. You won't be, if you submit it late, obviously you'll lose marks. Then the introduction to the topic. So in your policy papers, as I mentioned before, you should not be introducing the topic so much. You should just be describing the severity of the crisis that we have at hand. Okay, that's the introduction. Writing skills, just in general, those are 5 marks. Solutions proposed. So we'll be sending you the general idea of what the crisis will be about tomorrow, or maybe day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
max.
As soon as you have like finished working it up fully, completely, we'll send it to you guys.
Yeah, and I don't know, maybe we'll be sending you the trigger crisis as well, because it'll end up being 3 days before the conference. So
3 days before the conference, which is on Friday, this Friday, right? The 16th.
Yeah.
So that would be on around Tuesday, like that.
So by Tuesday, we'll be sending you everything about the trigger crisis and everything. So you'll be clear with what exactly the crisis is. But I hope you're clear with the general idea of the crisis if you have read the background guide. So solutions proposed means any ideas and steps that you have, or any general steps that you think you will take with respect to your particular organ, that can be said in the solutions proposed. And you can also send in solutions which you think the other organs or the Israel in general should take. to solve the crisis. That's solutions proposed. Accuracy of stance. So you need to talk about your, you need to cite statements and solutions that pertain to your particular allocation. So if you're the chairman of, if you're the Minister of Foreign Affairs, say more solutions that are related to that foreign affairs allocation. Okay. And then overall content, just that checks your flow of your passage and all that stuff. That's in overall content. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Satvik,
Hmm.
while like talking about
Yeah.
directives, communiques,
Yeah.
you talked about open, closed, and that stuff, private, public.
We did I'll just tell it again. So there are public directives and there are personal private directives. Personal directives or private directives. In the Israeli cabinet, we won't be entertaining personal or private directives. We will only have public directives. And even if you send us a private directive, ultimately we'll be disclosing it to the committee. At least this is what we have decided for now. We might change it later on, but you will be informed about that in the committee itself. So what that means is, any directive that you send will be open to all the other delegates or the other members. And you can also send out joint directives, which are basically directives sent out by multiple sponsors. And there are no signatories in directives. The format we have shown, it is sent to you guys in the delegate handbook as well.
And open, close communique.
Open, close communiques, I don't know about this. Can you explain this?
Okay, same thing. Public, private. Open means public.
Okay.
Close means private. Same
Okay.
thing applies to communiques.
Okay.
If you accepting that into committee, then you can inform them later about it. If you're not, then inform them as well.
Again, we'll only
explain
keep
Arabic.
public communiques, and because we want
makes
the
sense.
committee to work
Yeah.
together. And
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
also delegates can have members, not delegates. Members can have different conflicting opinions. Even though you're all the members of the same country, you can have conflicting opinions. That's completely fine. And just make sure that your opinions matches the aim and the you should match the feeling of your particular committee. Okay, so you can read about your past actions that your not committee, sorry, your organ or body. You can read about the past statements and actions that your particular organ has put out, and you can refer to those and make your opinions based on that, right? We will be entertaining any motion to challenge, etc., in the committee, but you need to ensure that the stance you take does not go against your organ's principles. Also, the stance you take shouldn't go against the principles of Israel in general. As mentioned several times in the background guide, you are the servants of the people and the government and the people and the state. So you have to take decisions that are beneficial for the people. And also this Israeli and Arab war, although that's mainly a political war, it also has religious there are also religious points to this, but yeah, religious elements. Yeah, but we will not be discussing those in the cabinet. Okay, in the committee, those are way beyond our scope. And in MUN, the most important thing is for you to be in that illusion that we're actually members of a really important cabinet, a really important state council. So the most important thing is for you to feel that you're really those members, you're really those delegates. So we'll be asking you guys to maybe take a pledge or something in the beginning, pledge to the Israeli state, etc. And we might play the national anthem. So it's not to,
Okay, yeah.
So we won't be hurting your feelings or anything. So be sure about that. It's just an illusion that we are creating, so you guys enjoy it more. And of course, we will not be referring to you guys by your names, etc. And we'll be referring to you as a minister, an esteemed minister. Everyone will be respecting each other and all that. And yeah, that's to ensure that illusion is maintained. Okay. Any questions? Okay.
A few things as well. I'll just briefly talk about the history part, or like what I've done in the background guide. So like if you guys have any doubt about the history, like what has happened till now, you can ask me, because and like mainly the thing that you must know is that, wait, am I lagging? I can't hear anybody. Hello.
No, you're not lagging.
Perfect, man.
Okay. Fine. See, basically, as far as what the history of Israel is still right now, right? World War II happened, Holocaust happened, the Jews came to Palestine, the Palestine region. Okay, State of Israel was established. 1948, there was a war. Okay, Israel won that war, although like it won that war and like it established itself. Okay, 1956 Suez Crisis happened. Israel won that war again, or militarily, but politically, like it was quite mixed. They say that when did Britain and France stop being a superpower? It was like at this stage only. The Suez Crisis was the end of the British superpower status, basically. Okay, so history may not be that important over here, but you must remember one thing, that by 1967, Israel had humiliated the Arab world twice. Okay, in both the 1948 war and the 1956 war. So, historically, what happened in our timeline was that in 1967, Israel again ended up humiliating the Arab world by winning and like conquering the entire Sinai Peninsula. Now, in our committee, that might happen, that might not happen. But as ministers of the Israeli cabinet, as members of the Israeli government and Israeli cabinet, Israeli defense forces, and whatever, your job is that you must try and lead Israel to a victory. All right. Yeah, it's not like so we will try to keep it as immersive as possible, as Satvik said, so that you guys can have an enjoyable experience. But your ultimate aim is that Israel should win the war, basically, as far as the Israeli cabinet is concerned.
And there can be questions about who owns the land and all that stuff. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant. Our
Yeah.
aim is to win it for the Israeli people and to secure land for the Israeli people. If we do that, we'll win the crisis. Although the aim of the crisis committee is not to win or lose. The aim is to present directives in the best possible manner. Yeah, solutions. Okay. Can we take doubts now, Vardhan?
Yeah,
If you
doubts.
guys have any
Yeah.
doubts regarding the Arab part of this story as well, you might ask them here. Anyways, if you guys have doubts, not a problem.
Okay. Head of operations, yes.
No, I just wanted to ask when the deadline for the submission of the policy paper will be.
Policy paper. Okay, see, I've showed you the marking scheme for the policy paper. The deadline will be 14th July. That is Wednesday, 14th July, Wednesday, midnight. So you can submit it by then. We'll be sending you the details about that. We have not sent you the details.
Yeah, we'll be
about
sending
that.
the details about that like by today, tomorrow we'll be sending it.
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Minister of Defense.
Yes. So basically what you guys are saying is that we can change what happened in the history, what happened in the 6 day war,
Absolutely.
right?
That's the most important
Absolutely.
thing.
That's the point. That's the point of this committee.
So
You
it can
take
like
anyway.
totally turn around. Anything can happen, basically. We can do anything.
Yeah, and you can take
Correct.
inspiration from the wars that have happened since. Obviously, you have to use the
Yeah.
technology at that time, but bioweapons and all that, I don't know if it existed at that time. We can think of that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Arab
Got it.
cabinet also, you can use this. Okay. Fine.
And
Ground.
there's also the subject. There's also the subject of nukes. Okay. There's also the subject of nukes. In 1967, it is said that Israel did have a nuclear technology. Okay. But I don't know, Satvik, like, were we really encouraging the delegates to like use the ministers to use? Are they allowed? Are they like? Is it are nukes like free game?
Fine. Listen, the thing is, if there is something that is of controversial nature in current history or something that is not 100% clarified, use it to your advantage and make a claim that it is true.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
But again, see, if you're going to use nukes, you need to have a proper reason and a proper timing for it. You can't just start the committee. Hey guys, war started. Nuke, let's finish it already.
Yeah, and also there's something
do you know this is
there are a
actually
list
in
of war
Cold War,
crimes.
right? So there's the
No, go ahead.
Geneva please, yes, Geneva Convention. Keep in mind.
do know this is also the Cold War time period, right? So the doctrine of MAD, everything actually exists. So you guys should remember whatever is happening during that time.
Now you need not go through all doctrines. There is doctrine of MAD, there is Truman Doctrine, there is the Alliance treaties, whatever happened. You need not know all of them, but the basic idea is you need to be rational in the decisions you make. Nuke is not like an easy way out, like fun party time. Let's bring out the nukes.
Yeah, and
So
there are also the 4
nukes,
Geneva Convention. Sorry. Go ahead. Okay, there are also the 4 Geneva Conventions. There are also the 4 Geneva Conventions. There's 4 clauses in the Geneva Convention that were applicable at that time. Do make sure you read them. Essentially, you're not allowed to create war crimes. Also, although what happens eventually in a crisis committee is that you commit war crimes, but in the beginning and for the most part, we won't be entertaining that at all. And also about delegates assassinating other delegates, other members of the Israeli cabinet, Israeli State Council, assassinating other members of the Israeli State Council. No, we will not be entertaining that, at least in the first day. Of course, anything can happen.
Second, Satvik, will we be entertaining things like members of the Israeli cabinet assassinating members of the Arab cabinet?
Yeah, we can assassinate. Obviously, that's fine. But you need to know how you are going to do that. Do you know their location?
If you're,
yeah.
If your directive to assassinate the cabinet member of the Arab cabinet is not good enough, you will face backlashes that are made by the chair onto you. So make sure you have a proper plan. Even if it's a proper plan, depending on the condition, context, it might or might not pass. So that is a high risk, high reward action. Keep that in mind. There's always a risk return trade off when you're explaining actions within a crisis committee or proposing directives. So that's one thing that you need to keep in mind. Geneva Convention 1949-1951 is relevant to you. That is the Geneva Convention on War Crime and Genocide. There are clauses in that, 49-50. If your country has ratified it, then only you have to care about it. For example, in 51, North Korea committed war crimes but had not ratified it. So no one gave a shit. They couldn't be compelled by Geneva Convention. I'm not sure if Israel ratified it by then or the other countries ratified it by then. But if you haven't, good luck. War crimes are a playground. But we don't encourage you to commit war crimes.
As I remember, I think Israel did ratify it back then. But
Israel ratified it, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not sure, so you can check it.
What's the year again? Geneva?
I think it's between 47 and 50 because it was before Korean War.
Israel ratified the Geneva Conventions in 1951.
So we have to follow the Geneva Conventions.
Yeah,
basically.
you have to follow it.
And also there's a clause about members dying and all that. See, essentially, if member dies, it's not like I'll be taking over your position. Okay, you will still be in the committee. It's just that you will have a there will be a reason for why you die. Like what happened in one of my previous crisis committees was the delegate died. Delegate was assassinated by the other members and basically was replaced with another delegate. Fictionally, the delegate remained the same, and her stance on the issues were different. That's essentially what happened. So the reason why she was assassinated was because she had opposing stance. And after assassination, her stance was different. The delegate remains the same. She's not suspended from the committee or anything. And of course, if you misbehave and all that, I said we'll suspend you guys. We'll suspend you guys for maybe 15 minutes or something. Right? Don't take that too seriously. Yeah.
Satvik, you're talking about the crisis conclave DPRK.
Yeah, crisis conclave. Yeah.
Since you know it, my suggestion is don't try to go in deep like how the DPRK thing went. Because backdoor talks and all. Try to avoid backdoor talks because backdoor there and backdoor here are very, very different contexts politically.
Okay.
So let's try to avoid complications since this is online as well. But rest is up to you, yeah?
Okay,
fine. So keep it as viable as possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless there's a very good reason for it. Delegates, members, unless there's a very good reason for anything, we won't be entertaining it. Of course, once you send out that particular directive, you're also at risk because we'll be taking actions against you accordingly. We'll be shifting the crisis accordingly. Okay.
Can I tease that, for example, assassination attempts at Arab members, in case they are not a good directive, could we tease that the members might know and there could be retaliation from our side as well? It actually exists,
Because but see, now that what will happen is, for example, in Israel, there is a directive proposed for assassinating an Arab cabinet member. Now, what is going to happen is you're going to make, as the chair of Israel cabinet and Arab cabinet, both of you will be aware it has happened. Now, it's up to you to make an arc wherein there is a failed assassination attempt that has occurred. Now, obviously, once a failed assassination attempt occurs, the person who's trying to get assassinated will get to know somehow. Either you're doing it through a body double or a failed mission or they getting caught in midway, whatever. Now, after that, Arab cabinet is already informed about it. It comes as a crisis update tagged on behind whatever next update you were planning to introduce. Hence, it's your choice and your members' choice to take action on it or not. That can be through press releasing or however you want to do, public shame them, khalas. That is up to you.
Okay, ground forces, you have any doubts?
Yes, Chair. So if we're going to discuss about the war and then we move on to the Arab cabinet, so at that point of time where we're discussing about war between Israel and the Arab cabinet, can the committees be merged?
I don't think the committees will be merged because
you'll never have a you'll never have a together committee. Like for example, in some joint committees, what you happen is both committees are sitting together. But
Yeah.
in this context, Israel and Arab cabinets will never sit together. Why? If you
Yeah.
go back in history,
Pulkit,
they've never
Pulkit,
sat
Pulkit.
together. Yeah.
Pulkit, sorry,
Right.
Hussein already said that we might have mini joint sessions or something.
Yeah,
as
but
such.
it does see
Could you
he's
just
explained in
clarify?
general. It doesn't make sense for us, Israel and Arab members to sit
Okay,
together
so
because we
in
are at the ones at war. So it doesn't make sense.
in
for us.
context,
Yeah.
see if maybe Hussein is planning a crisis arc where it's possible, but in the initial conditions that we are facing right now, it most likely won't be occurring where you're sitting together unless
Correct.
Hussein makes a crisis arc such. Okay.
Okay.
True.
Ground forces. Any other doubts?
Nothing.
Okay, please lower your hand.
Foreign affairs, JCC Israel.
Yes, I have two doubts. For the policy statement, do we have to write our stance with we have to write our stance to with respect to which date?
31st May. I mean, would that be good, Chad? Is that fine?
Actually, it depends on the crisis. What the crisis director says. We'll be updating you about the exact date and stuff by Tuesday. Or by tomorrow, maybe.
Day after, yeah.
Small bite.
By tomorrow or day after. By tomorrow or day after,
Think
we'll be
about
updating.
think about your, like, as soon as you get the trigger crisis, see the date, see the situation as then, and then start thinking about your stance, your policy, etc.
Yeah, everything.
Your normal policy paper should be sort of like a benign statement, and post trigger crisis you're going to get into the action. So just a quick bite from me. Moving on.
Okay. A second question: do we have Mossad in the committee?
We have the chairman of special forces. We don't have Mossad in the committee. Actually, back then Mossad was not exactly what it is right now. I forgot what's it called? What's the word?
Spy agency.
Spy. Yeah, it's not a spy agency. Back then it was a spy agency for internal corruption. So right now the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Interior are in charge of that. We don't have Mossad, but the person who is chairman of special forces can probably do something about it.
Thank
you. Spy. Okay.
And I think Minister of Interior.
Yes. Yeah, about the speakers list. So it will be given before the conference, right?
See, the speakers list is basically a list of all the members who want to speak at that time. Okay,
yeah.
So you will raise your hands and then we'll allow you to speak. That's how it works.
Yeah,
okay.
So like basically Satwik or me, like on the day of the committee, like once someone raises the motion to start the PSL, after that, you guys will ask like any all delegates like, who want to speak, please raise your hands now. We'll say like that, and then like whoever wants to speak, they can raise their hands, and their names will be added to the list, and then like in that order they'll be speaking.
And about the voting thing, so I don't think we'll have to vote for anything. We'll be voting for procedural motions like selecting the moderated caucus or topics and all that stuff. So by voting, I just had this idea. I don't know. You can, Vardhan, you can also hear me out. So we'll just ask the delegates to place their hand in front of the camera like this. If they have a virtual background, then just their virtual background will be visible. Else, if they don't have a virtual background, then it'll just be pitch black. So basically, the delegates won't be visible on camera, and that way we can account their vote. Because if they raise their hand, most of the delegates will forget to unraise their hands, and then we'll create lag.
Okay. See, the thing with that is in many emails that I've seen so far, most people don't even turn on their videos.
They have to turn on the video. That will make it compulsory.
They have to turn on, but then like still in several conferences that I have been in and all, it's been compulsory, but like most of the people still don't do it.
Do those delegates end up speaking in the committee?
Yeah, sometimes they do. Sometimes they speak. Like most of the time, so it's because the chair forces them to speak or something like that.
Okay, so anyways, in that case, the delegates are not speaking. I don't think that we have that many such delegates. So we'll just ask those delegates their vote privately or something like that. Because if
you want to
everybody
raise your
raises
hands,
their
you can do it
hand,
both ways.
Yeah.
I guess. Like either you can place your hand to the camera like what you did, or you can raise your hand to the participant screen. You can do either of those. But if you're raising your hand to the participant screen, don't forget to like put it back
lower
down.
it down.
Your name is being called.
Yeah. And okay, Minister of Trade. Yeah. Minister of Trade, you have your hands raised. Okay, no problem. Any other doubt?
I wanted to ask about the directives. Like, is there any particular format?
Yeah, we'll send it to you. We have discussed it already.
You
We'll
know,
send it to
Hussein showed that format, you know, like sponsor, then the committee, and then what your directive is, like that.
We'll send you the whole
we'll send the format to you. We'll send the format.
Okay, any other doubts? Any other questions about the crisis, about the theory? Any questions about how the ROP will work, how the flow of committee will work? Anything?
Oh yes, Dhanwant, you messaged, right, about
Yeah,
other countries getting involved. Regarding that, the other countries' involvement depends solely on what delegates choose to do in their communiques. Now, if, for example, let's say in the Arab cabinet there is a country that was involved but was not there prominently in this thing, in your cabinet representation, hence a communique can be made, but the communique has to come from the members, not from you. That choice is not up to you. Involvement of other countries is solely dependent on member communiques, and since they're public communiques, they'll be read out in the committee and discussed as a whole. So as long as there is a agreement that other countries should be involved, if they were not involved in real life, they still can be. But first thing, majority in a committee. Second thing, feasibility of involvement. I can't say that US troops from, let's say, from Indian Ocean are going to make their way to, what do you say Suez Canal or something. It's going to take like months on end. By the time 6 days are already over, which war are you going to fight? Correct. So feasibility of action and involvement are also things that you'll need to keep in mind. So 2 steps: first, delegate approval; second thing, feasibility of involvement.
And another thing we can say that like there can be consequences as well, right? I mean, especially for this particular conflict, 60 war, like if you and someone ends up trying to call the US into the war, then that can also result in Soviet involvement, on more direct involvement on behalf of the Soviets and the Arab
Yeah,
side.
now balancing of powers and international politics is a part of the crisis arc that you'll need to keep in mind as soon as the communique is introduced. Yeah, that you can introduce on your own.
And above that, like that can result in the entire thing like moving from just a 6-day local war into like a complete world war or something, like in
Into
case
a
the US comes.
yeah, it can be a regional proxy war. You can take it out.
Also, about embargoes, for example, in case of war crimes, anything similar to that, right? Other like the power nations might involve themselves in enforcing the
sanctioning
convention.
embargoes, putting on sanctions, putting on embargoes, putting on restrictions as such, blockades, anything is fine. But again, time period of action and how they're going to affect. For example, let's say right now Iran has sanctions, correct? But you have a sneak around through it called the SWIFT mechanism or INSTEX mechanism that you use to sneak around it. If the other cabinet finds out to sneak around for a sanction after it's been applied, well and good. They've already, it's pointless to have post sanction in the first place. Blockades also timing dependent, how slow and how fast blockades take place and how effective they are. That is dependent on the military power of the country.
So presidential statements, I don't think will make sense because a presidential statement, whatever that person says will have to be the policy of the entire committee. And because in the Israeli cabinet, all the different members might have different conflicting opinions, a presidential statement won't make sense. Also because the prime minister is right there in the conference, I don't think it will make sense. So we won't be entertaining those.
Your presidential statement might be a sort of similar occasion to a press release. You can use it in that way if you like. Okay. In this one context, you can use it like that if you want to, but not suggested. You use a normal press release instead, but it's possible.
Okay, any doubts, anything? Any questions? No, okay. Shall we end the meeting then? Anything you guys want to put out?
Yeah, is there any other question?
Vardhan or Pulkit or Dhanwant, anything else you want to say?
No. Guys, all the best. Do good. And thing is, try to be controversial. Don't be contradictory. It's a tip I give to almost all the delegates. I like whenever I chair, very few times. Thing is, be controversial. As in, you might have small changes with respect to your character. You might have small disputes, etc., etc. Don't contradict yourself greatly in the flow of committee. One, it gives you a bad look. Two, it might come to bite you behind. Some point in the committee, it always does. So please do keep short so that you do not contradict yourself hugely. Be controversial. That's the spice of the committee. So yeah, all the best, and hoping to see some spicy directives communiques, etc. Let's see how the JCC flows. Yeah, all the best.
One last doubt.
Yeah.
In a public directive, can a person actually write something which is outside their jurisdiction?
Okay, so there's a point about that in the background guide. Members, I really can't emphasize this enough. You have to read the background guide. Everything about these ROP related questions, right? Everything is very detailedly mentioned in the background guide in great detail. In that notes section, it is mentioned. So if you wanna say something that's outside your mandate of your organ, then you need to put out a joint directive with that particular member, or you have to take the permission of that particular member. That is essentially you need to discuss with that particular member and mention in that particular directive that you have discussed with that member. Okay, and all directives will be public, and there will be no private directives and communications. Yeah, then go ahead.
Easier idea, if you do not essentially have jurisdiction to enable an action, you might as well send in a communique with your suggestions to a respective person, instead of you guys sitting together, etc. It's quite complicated process. Communique would be sort of easy. You send in your suggestions, etc., whatever you want, and then that person, it's up to that person or that
I think that would be a chit, right? Not a communique.
Well, but you could chit.
Yeah, okay, fine. See, same thing. If when you're doing it through chit, when you're doing it through communicate, the purpose is same, the action is going to take the same. Only difference comes is if you do it during lobbying, you go up to them and try to make a directive. The chairs don't know that you've proposed this. If you do it through a communique and send it to them, the chairs know at least you've proposed this idea, depending on not the person with authority takes action or not.
Okay, usually we read the chits as well, right? Usually the chairs read the chits as well.
No, personal chits passing are not read. The chits passing are not read. Sometimes they are read depending on the nature of the
via the EB if they select. Okay, fine, we'll do this. Delegates, if you wanna send a message or wanna collaborate with any other member of this Israeli State Council, then you can send a chit. And if you want us to read it, that is, you want us to mark it, then do it. Just write via the EB. Okay, in that chit. How will we be doing the chits? I'll tell you in that day of the committee itself how we'll do the chits and directive. How you'll be sending it to us.
Could be informal as well.
Yeah, and if you
more formal.
Yeah, no, everything has to be formal. But if you're sending a chit to some other delegate and you don't want the EB to see, again, I'll confirm this on the day of the committee itself. If you don't want the EB to see, or you don't want the EB is the executive board, that's us, the dais. If you don't want the dais to see, you won't be graded on it, and it will be like a personal chit. A communique, we'll keep it to just different organs that are not there in that council or cabinet itself, no, then the council itself. Okay, that's a communique. And for a chits are sent to members of the council, and you can select via EB or not via EB. If it's not via EB, you won't be graded on it, and we won't be checking it. Okay, ground forces, you have a doubt? Discussion. Okay, no, we won't be having a resolution discussion at the end of the committee because it's a crisis committee. There's no agenda that we need to resolve. There's just a crisis which we need to solve. The climax of the committee will just be the final, whatever happens at the end, the result, that will be the climax. There's no directive that will be put out at the end. Maybe we solve the war and the timeline goes ahead so much, maybe it's 2-3 months later, and we might have like a treaty or something. I don't know, depends on how the committee flows. If that happens, then we'll have a treaty will be very much like a directive only. It will be very much like a resolution only, except I think it will just have operative clauses, no preambulatory clauses.
Yeah, so if the treaty is discussed, that means it will be voted by the entire committee.
Could you speak louder?
If there will be a treaty, then that will be voted by the entire committee, right?
Yeah, the treaty will be voted by the entire committee, but I'm not sure if there will be a treaty.
See, okay, if and when you come to the crossing bridge of your treaty, which might be unlikely considering how second-day crisis committees are not exactly, sensible stuff. You always go out on tangents and start destroying countries. But in case you do end up with a treaty, the treaty has to be proposed. That time we can either have a joint session between both cabinets for a bilateral talk discussing the treaty, or you'll have separate voting in both cabinets. If both cabinets pass it, then you consider it a success. Otherwise, you're going to have pretty much years and years of grudge after the committee is already over. So depending on how you choose to do it, we'll let you know. But once it comes to it, you'll be informed. Don't worry.
Okay, thanks.
Guys, how the committee ends is more or less based on the intensity or the magnitude of your victory or loss, right? So keep that in mind. It depends on how the entire thing ends up. If it ends up in the same way as the 6-day war did, I don't think so. You might have a treaty of sorts. It's just that you won the war. You've claimed this places. You are now in control of this amount of territory, etc., etc. There wouldn't be much of a treaty. If you guys have a major victory of sorts, you knock out the entire armies. They're sort of in an anarchy state of sorts. They're trying to rebuild. We might have a treaty of sorts. It depends on what's your magnitude of loss victory.
Yeah.
So if you guys, like as Pulkit said, if you guys go and destroying everything, I doubt there would be any sense in making a treaty. So anyways, all the best.
Okay,
done?
all the
Any
best,
doubts?
delegates. Any other doubts? If not, okay, yeah. Foreign affairs.
Will there be any press conference? Like, is there international press in this conference?
No, there is no international press for the entirety of the conference. We will not be having a press session or anything like that. So your focus is just the committee. Okay. Anything else?
What are these press statements?
Oh, press statements within the committee are a thing. The international press corps, like how
Press
press
statements are
conference
different.
happens, press conference won't happen. Press statements from a committee side are a different thing.
Press
It is used
statements are
to.
things that you want to release to the public. Okay, those are press statements. Okay,
No,
and
that's terms of
IPC, yeah.
press release, you're doing it for the purpose of public opinion. Why? Because if public opinion is not on your side, the chair can easily make an entire crisis arc about dissents, which will take you away from the war, and can be a very bad look for you in the international community. First of all, second of all, if you're dealing with two crises at once and the other committee is only focusing on attacking in the war, you're likely to lose it. So make sure that you're using press releases effectively as well.
Okay. Before we proceed ahead, are there any doubts? I want to discuss something very important with you guys. Any more doubts? Okay, look, guys, the members who are members of the Israeli cabinet members of the Israeli State Council in this meeting, have you all sent your essays? Anyone who has not sent their essay, please let me know. No problem. It's okay. I won't tell you anything. Everybody has sent their essays. Okay, just 1 minute.